What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'm sitting right here ready. I actually have a meeting in 30 minutes, but I must do this very quickly for you. I'm going very quickly to interview a probable third wife. Yes, if she's good enough, maybe she's going to be my third wife. Yes, I'm polygamous. What do you expect? Good looking man, intelligent, looks good, dressed good, and I got money in the bank. There aren't many good men. There are plenty of good women, though. So who's going to take care of those? We need to share. Sharing is caring. Okay, we are in Burkina Faso. Great stuff. Good news about Burkina Faso. I'm loving this country at the moment. The government has supplied 53 electric cars for government officials. Congratulations! Yay! All right, so this is interesting because the idea is to reduce cost to the government. Reduce cost. Within the aim of reducing state operational costs, the Burkinabe government has equipped itself with electric vehicles. The transitional government of Ibrahim Traoré received at least 53 electric cars this Wednesday. 53 electric cars. Absolutely amazing. It's amazing. They've spent about 1 billion CFA franc, which translates to about $1 million. So fellas, for $1 million, you can get 53 cars that are electric cars. Okay, this is as opposed to many African governments, especially in Central Africa, where you see people spending $1 million on 3 cars. Yes, they say we have a budget, it's $1 million, but we spent $1 million on 3 cars. And I'm sorry, when I look at these people, I look at Ibrahim Traoré from Burkina Faso, I don't feel sorry for Africa anymore. I don't feel sorry because I know we do it on purpose. Your leaders do it on purpose so you can suffer. Yeah, people can be fine. This country is not receiving any money from World Bank or IMF. They're not receiving anything. They are contributing. So basically the president said to the people, bring a little bit of your salary, bring a percentage of your salary. We're going to put it in the baskets and we're going to use the money from that basket to buy weapons, to fight terrorists, to buy stuff that we need to build our country, to build infrastructure, to build plants, to do all that stuff. And in using the people's money to buy cars for government. So the goal is let's reduce government expenditures. Worth more than 1 billion CFA franc, these electric vehicles are offered by CEO of Yonghong International Group. So Yonghong International Group is a Chinese, obviously, company. Let me just remind you here that Burkina Faso has a very good relationship with China. What do you expect if the West treats you like you nobodies, like you have no intelligence, you cannot think for yourselves, you are not intelligent. Listen to this guy. His name is Joseph Borrell. He was talking about Africans. He says Africans are supporting Putin because they know nothing about Putin. They're not clever enough to think for themselves. It's just a bunch of Africans. He said that whilst people in Mali and Burkina Faso were working with flags praising Russia. And he said, no, don't worry about the Africans. They're just a bunch of Africans who don't understand who Putin is. As to say Africans have no brains to think.
Russia is able to deflect blame, twist reality, and to find an audience in some part of the world. I've seen in the TV screens these African young people on the streets of Bamako with a billboard saying, Putin, thanks, you have saved the Donbass, and now you will save us. It's really shocking. Well, you can consider these people don't know where the Donbass is. Maybe they don't even know who is Putin, but they are getting mobilized on the streets. And I see in some capital of a country who is a candidate to become member of the European Union. You don't have to go to Bamako, you have to go to the Balkans. And you will see in the Balkans, thanks, happy birthday.
So you see that shows you how they think about you. And obviously when people think about you in that way, what do? You turn your face to people that consider you, people that respect you. The bottom line is when you get money from World Bank and IMF, they will tell you how to run your country. They will come to you, your human rights is not okay, you're mistreating these people. They will tell you need to allow men to be with other. I have no issue with that, provided that, everybody did their own, but some cultures don't accept that. You know what I'm saying? Some culture and tradition are not okay with that. Apart from South Africa, which officially is okay with that, and maybe Gabon with the former presidents, I'm not sure what's going to happen with the new president. The majority of Africa is not necessarily okay with that. So They're going to tell you need to allow them to get married. If you don't do that, you are not democratic enough. So you're not getting any money. That's what's happened with Uganda. They blocked the Ugandan president because he said, I'm not going to change the law that's been voted in parliament. Parliament has voted the law with traditional leaders, with cultural leaders, religious leaders coming together and choosing not to allow that. I'm not going to do that because you give me money. You can keep your money. Now, Burkina Faso is one of those. They don't want to be told what to do. They want to run their own country. That's how they kicked out the French and the soldiers. Leave our country. We can do our own things. Now, Ibrahim Traoré has shocked everybody. He's a young man, 36 years old, fellas. That's why I said to you, most men only grow up until they're 31. After 31, men don't grow anymore. They just learn how to use different words, special words, very hard English words. But the brain stops. It's a very little number of men that continues to grow after 31. And this man shows you, look at other presidents. They're old people, but they just want to loot. But they become president, they become rich, they build houses, they get 6, 7, 9 wives, they build buildings for themselves, and the people are scared to hold them accountable. Scared to say, where did you get the money from? Because we know your salary. And that salary does not allow you to build all these buildings. Now, this man, first thing he did by entering power, he said, I don't want my salary as a president. I'm a soldier. I want you to pay me as a captain. Do not pay me as a president. People were touched by that. Then when he said, okay, then everybody needs to give a percentage of their salary so we can put it in a basket. Because the World Bank does not want to look at us, we can look after ourselves. We can be independent. We can produce our own things. People were more than ready to come and contribute because the leader leads by leadership. 53 cars has been provided by the Chinese. Obviously, you have to work with somebody. Nobody progresses alone. If the West wants to consider you like children, at least you can look into the Chinese and the Russians. And that's what they're doing. And China has seized this opportunity to show we can actually deliver for you. So vehicle of the range of 500 kilometers. If you jump into a vehicle, you can drive 500 kilometers with non-stop. And it will effectively reduce harmful gas emission and contribute to environmental protection and reduce the cost of fuel and maintenance. So less maintenance, less fuel. You know how much government in Africa, especially in Central Africa, spend on fuel? Like just the minister and his crew. The fuel has to be paid by the state. So when the state pays for the fuel, they can go see their 6, 7, 9, 11th wives. They can go on trips and whatever. They can sometimes even sell the fuel to other people and lying that they've used it for office purpose. Because there's no monitoring. There's no system that monitors you left from A to B with what purpose? Was it for the government purpose or was it for your personal issues? So that's going to reduce the fuel. That's going to reduce the cost. Then they're going to deliver the money appropriately to where it's much needed. Now, let me remind you here, before Ibrahim Traoré, there used to be another man. His name is Thomas Sankara. This is Thomas Sankara, young man in his early 30s. I feel like we're becoming dumber and dumber and dumber and stupider as time goes. Men used to be men, like men used to be strong. Remember, during independence, the people that stood for Africa were young men in their early 20s, in their early 30s. They were president. Lumumba, Sankara, all those people, they were young. Now look at a 30-year-old random average man today. He's busy insulting women on social media. He's busy trying to say, oh, this soccer player is better than that soccer player. Oh, matter of fact, this star is not as good as that singer. He's got a bigger house. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely nothing about geography. They know nothing about culture. They can't even build decent relationship with next people. It's very sad. Now, Ibrahim Traoré is showing us something completely different. Thomas Sankara, in his time, what he did was, he said to the people of government, you do not need to drive in a Mercedes just because you're part of the government. I am sweating, fellas, talking to you. You do not need to drive in Mercedes. Oh, from now on, actually, you're going to be driving in a Renault. It's Renault 5. Who remembers those cars? Do you remember them? Renault used to be a French-made whatever car. It was cost-effective. It spent less fuel. And they gave it to the generals and the ministers and the prime minister and everybody. Reynolds. Were they happy? No, they were not happy. Many of them were really, really pissed off because he did that. The goal was to keep money. Stop spending money for nothing. Use the money to build something constructive, something important. Use the money to start agriculture. The next thing he did was, okay, guys, you don't need expensive trips. You can all travel economy. Nobody travels on first class in business anymore, unless it's the president himself or the prime minister. Members of government do not need to travel first class. Nobody will travel first class.
Nos ministres ne sont pas autorisés à voyager en classe première, en première classe dans les avions. Ils prennent les classes touristes. Et même quand il est possible de faire voyager par les avions charter, nous le faisons.
What did he say? He said, if you take off, if the plane takes off, whether you're in first class or economy, you're taking off. When the plane lands, whether you're in first class or economy, you are landing together. So there is no use for you to spend a lot of money on a first class ticket just because you're part of the government. Let's rather use that money to build hospitals, to build schools, and many other things. That's incredible. And this man clearly is following the footsteps of this great man. Next thing was very interesting, still in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso has launched its second production of tomatoes. So the president Ibrahim Traoré has inaugurated the new tomato processing plant in Bobo-Dioulasso, reiterating the country's commitments to economic independence through addition of values to one of its raw materials.
Aujourd'hui, c'est un grand jour. C'est le lieu pour moi de dire merci au peuple qui a compris donc notre mission et qui a souscrit massivement et d'appeler ceux qui étaient sceptiques à pouvoir souscrire massivement à l'APEC parce que la concrétisation des souscriptions depuis le premier jour qu'on a lancé le programme est là aujourd'hui. Ce n'est que la première phase et je pense que dans quelques jours, nous allons inaugurer une autre usine du côté de Yako où l'APEC a pris des parts énormes donc, dans cette usine et bientôt donc l'usine de Tenkodogo qui verra jour. Donc tout ça rentre dans le processus d'industrialisation. Ça ne peut que nous rendre fiers et très heureux donc, de la marche qui a été comprise par le peuple.
So Burkina Faso can produce a lot of tomatoes. And like I said, this man is all about business. A second tomato processing plant where they can produce tomato products and stuff. They say this plant is a symbol of determination for the Burkinabe people to ensure their economic sovereignty. A lot of people expected them to crash after they kicked out the French. You know, they want you to stay beggars. You know, don't be beggars, be hustlers. And this man is not just a president, he's a soldier and he's a hustler. So Traoré welcomed the civic commitment, stressing the importance of supporting local initiatives aimed at creating added value jobs. So they're going to be creating about 10,000 jobs for the people with this processing plant. And this is not the first one. Okay? This is the second one. On the first one, they spent about $8 million for these processing plants, producing about 290,000 tons of tomato in 2021. So by this, they're going to be reducing the cost of wasted tomato, you know, some that rot, because Burkina Faso is quite a harsh, you know, in terms of climate place. And they're going to create a space where the tomato is going to be produced and going to be transformed into tomato paste, into many other products. The facility is expected to mitigate these issues by processing locally grown tomatoes into paste, puree, and sauce, thereby reducing waste and decreasing reliance on imported tomato products. So, number one, they kill the fact that they will need to import tomatoes. There are African countries here, they import everything. Not even toilet paper they make, nothing. They don't even make pens, even lighters. Everything has to be imported. It's only $8 million he needed to build this tomato plant. And government officials in many African countries, they just loot, steal. It's very sad. The countries are dirty. It looks like toilets. I'm sorry to tell you the truth. We need to tell you the truth. Being a president does not mean an opportunity for you to loot, to steal, and destroy, and enrich your family. Because you think you have a time frame, which is 5 years. After 5 years, you probably will never get this opportunity. Well, I understand. It's okay to take a little bit if that's the case. You can take a little bit, but what about the people? Use the money to build. I mean, there are some people here, I'm sorry, that don't deserve to even be because they are destroying everybody's future. If you are a president and what you're doing is destroying instead of creating, I'm sorry, they should put you on the line and take you out. You shouldn't be there because you are sacrificing other people's lives. There are no hospitals, no roads, nothing, no infrastructure because of you. You want to enrich your family, your friends, your concubines and stuff like that. Insane. So that's what it is, fellas. Ibrahim Traoré is showing us the way. I think we need to learn about this man and give him the praise that he needs. Okay. Number one, 53 cars have been, you know, put to the plant for people from the government. 53 cars. They spent $1 million only. And also on top of that, they're going to have a assembly office in Burkina Faso. Captain Maida announced on upcoming installation of industrial units for assembling electrical vehicle entirely in Burkina Faso, and also, you know, enable Burkina Bay people to learn how to do this. In other words, going to be assembling these electrical cars in Burkina Faso. It won't be imported anymore. Isn't that great? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that how you develop a country? Let me say South Africa is one of the few countries that can assemble cars, maybe from other countries, German cars are assembled in South Africa. Like Volkswagen has been manufacturing cars in South Africa for 70 years now. The BMW plant in Roslyn has been producing cars since 1968, making BMW the first manufacturing facility outside Germany. It was in South Africa. And that's not stopped there. Mercedes-Benz, plant is in East London. The plant has been producing Mercedes-Benz vehicles since 1958. That's a long time ago. Now, Burkina Faso is going to be next, producing electric cars, reducing emission of gas, and reducing costs to the government. Whilst Burkina Faso is trying to reduce costs to the government, in other African countries, people are expending the cost to the government. There's more costs. They ask more money than they need. Do these people deserve to leave? I don't know. You tell me. Because of them, we're going to have a very negative experience of life because they are very selfish, because they choose themselves over the people. God bless.